$2 billion saved, a $16 billion valuation, and 40,000 customers in just 6 years. How did Ramp do it? Most people honestly think the fintech space is saturated. They think you just can't compete with giants like American Express. They believe it's impossible to build something new that people actually want. But Eric Glyman, Ramp's co-founder and CEO, proved them all wrong. He didn't just build another corporate card. He built a finance automation platform that actively saves its customers money. That's a fundamental shift in the business model, and it's the reason they've grown at a mind-blowing pace. This isn't just a story about a successful startup. It's a masterclass in building a business from the ground up by, well, breaking all the rules. Eric didn't follow the established playbook. He wrote a new one. He looked at what everyone else was doing, offering points, miles, and rewards, and he did the exact opposite. He focused on the one thing that truly matters to every single business owner, their bottom line. It's a simple concept, but the execution is what separates the billion-dollar companies from the ones that fizzle out. So how did he pull it off? It comes down to a few core principles that you can apply to any business, in any industry. This isn't about having a revolutionary idea that no one has ever thought of before. It's about execution, speed, and a relentless focus on the customer. We're going to break down his exact playbook. Here are 3 takeaways you can steal from Eric's founder story to build a business customers never leave, ship products 10 times faster, and leapfrog your competition. Let's get into it. How do you get 99.93% of your customers to stick with you? That's not a typo. That's Ramp's actual retention rate. It's a number so high it sounds fake. Most businesses would kill for 80 or 90% retention. So, what's the secret? It's not a fancy marketing gimmick or a complex loyalty program. It's incredibly simple. You have to align your success with your customers' success so completely that leaving you would feel like hurting themselves. For Ramp, this meant one thing: saving their customers cold, hard cash. This philosophy wasn't born overnight. It started with Eric Glyman's first company, Paribus. The idea was brilliant in its simplicity. Paribus scanned your email receipts, and if a store dropped the price on something you just bought, it would automatically file a price adjustment claim on your behalf. The customer didn't have to do anything. They just got money back. Paribus only made money when the customer saved money. Their incentives were perfectly 100% aligned. See the pattern? It's a powerful model because the value proposition is undeniable. When Eric and his co-founder Karim Attier sold Paribus to Capital One, they got a front-row seat to the inner workings of a massive financial institution. They saw how corporate cards worked, and they were shocked. The entire industry was built on a flawed premise. Credit card companies make money from interchange fees, a percentage of every transaction, so their incentive is for you to spend more. The more you spend, the more they make. They dangle rewards and points to encourage that spending. Eric saw this and realized it was the exact opposite of the Paribus model. The industry was fundamentally misaligned with its customers' best interests. No business owner wakes up in the morning thinking, "I hope I can spend more money today." They wake up thinking, "How can I be more efficient? How can I cut costs and improve my bottom line?" This was the foundational insight that led to Ramp. He decided to build a company that would win by helping its customers win. Instead of offering points, Ramp offers insights. The platform analyzes a company's spending and media group, Ramp platform flagging duplicate subscriptions, software identifying wasteful spending at its stock at distribute_equally, flags duplicate subscriptions, identifies wasteful spending, and negotiates better deals on software. It's a finance department in a box, actively working to plug leaks in your budget. Think about the psychology of that. When your credit card statement arrives, it's usually a moment of dread. When your Ramp report arrives, it's a moment of empowerment. It shows you how much money you saved. This changes the entire relationship. Ramp isn't a vendor, it's a partner. They are on the same team as their customers. This is the core of their insane retention. Why would you ever leave a partner who is actively making you more profitable? You wouldn't. It would be like firing your best employee. The value is so direct, so tangible that the product becomes indispensable. It embeds itself into the financial DNA of the company. This is the first lesson. Find a way to align your business model with your customers' core desires. Don't just sell them a product or service. Sell them an outcome. For Paribus, the outcome was money back in your pocket. For Ramp, it's a more profitable business. When you frame it like that, the sale becomes easy. The product sells itself because it's solving the ultimate problem every customer has. Most founders get this wrong. They fall in love with their solution, their tech, their features. They build something cool and then try to figure out who to sell it to. Eric did the opposite. He started with a deep, fundamental customer pain point. Businesses want to be more efficient with their money, and built the entire company around solving it. The product, the features, the technology, all of it serves that single, obsessive purpose. Look at your own business. Are you on the same side of the table as your customers? Does your success directly correlate with their success, or is there friction? Is there a point where your interests diverge? If your customers winning means you lose, you have a fundamental flaw in your business model. You're constantly fighting against their natural instincts. You're trying to convince them to do something that isn't in their best interest. That's a tough, uphill battle. But if you can create a system where your growth is fueled by their growth, you create a powerful flywheel. Happy customers who are getting massive value don't just stay. They become your best salespeople. They tell their friends. They post on social media. They can't help but talk about this incredible partner they have who is helping them succeed. That's how Ramp went from 0 to 40,000 customers so quickly. The lesson isn't just save people money. It's about understanding the deepest incentive structure of your market. For B2B, it's almost always about making or saving money. For B2C, it might be about saving time, achieving a certain status, or feeling a sense of connection. You have to dig deep and find that core driver. What is the ultimate outcome your customer is trying to achieve by using products in your category? Once you identify that, you have to bake it into your product and your business model. Don't make it a feature, make it the foundation. Ramp didn't just add a savings tab to their dashboard. The entire company is a savings engine. Every decision they make is filtered through the lens of, does this help our customers become more efficient and profitable? Think about the power of that focus. It simplifies everything. It makes product decisions easier. It makes marketing messages clearer. It makes sales conversations more effective. When you have that level of clarity and alignment, you create a product that people don't just use. They champion it. They feel like they're part of a movement, a better way of doing things. This is how you build a moat around your business that competitors can't cross. They can copy your features. They can match your pricing, but they can't easily copy your business model if it's fundamentally different. American Express can't suddenly pivot to a spend less model. Their entire trillion-dollar infrastructure is built on the opposite premise. Ramp's alignment with its customers is its ultimate competitive advantage. So ask yourself the hard questions. What business are you really in? Are you selling a piece of software, or are you selling efficiency? Are you selling a marketing service, or are you selling growth? Frame your business around the outcome, align your incentives with your customers' success, and you'll never have to worry about retention again. You'll have created a product so good, customers can't imagine their life without it. That's the foundation. But having a great product isn't enough if you can't get it into people's hands quickly. You need to move fast. And that brings us to the second lesson from Eric Glyman: how to ship product 10 times faster than your competition without breaking everything. In a crowded market, speed is your single greatest weapon. The company that learns the fastest and ships the fastest wins. But most founders are terrified of speed. They think moving fast means being reckless. It means shipping bugs, breaking things, and upsetting customers. Eric Glyman has a different philosophy. At Ramp, speed is a non-negotiable, and they've built a system that allows them to move at a blistering pace without the typical trade-offs. How? By understanding the difference between one-way and two-way doors. This concept, popularized by Jeff Bezos, is simple but profound. A two-way door decision is reversible. If you make a mistake, you can walk back through the door, fix it, and you haven't caused any permanent damage. Most decisions in a business are two-way doors, changing the color of a button on your website, testing a new marketing headline, tweaking an internal process. These decisions should be made quickly, with minimal deliberation. A one-way door decision, on the other hand, is nearly impossible to reverse. These are the big bet-the-company moves. Launching a major new product line, making a huge acquisition, changing your core business model. These decisions require slow, careful, and thorough analysis. The mistake most companies make is treating every decision like a one-way door. They apply the same level of heavy, bureaucratic scrutiny to changing a line of code as they do to entering a new country. Eric Glyman learned this lesson firsthand at Capital One. He saw how a massive, risk-averse organization operated. Every small change required multiple layers of approval, endless meetings, and extensive risk analysis. The process was designed to prevent any possible mistake, but a side effect was that it also prevented any meaningful progress. Innovation was stifled. It could take months to get a simple feature update out the door. He knew that to compete, Ramp had to be the exact opposite. So at Ramp, they built a culture that empowers their team to walk through two-way doors as fast as possible. They have a rule. If a change can be rolled back in under 60 seconds, you don't need to ask for permission. Think about how liberating that is for an engineer or a product manager. It removes the friction and fear that paralyzes so many organizations. It encourages experimentation and iteration. This doesn't mean it's a free-for-all. They have sophisticated systems in place to manage this process. They use feature flags extensively, allowing them to turn new features on for a small subset of users, say 1%, and monitor the results in real time. If something goes wrong, they can flip the switch and instantly roll it back. The blast radius is contained. They get the learning without the catastrophe. They also leverage technology to accelerate feedback loops. For example, they have an AI bot that scans every customer support ticket, live chat, and sales call. The bot identifies recurring themes, feature requests, and pain points. This information is then automatically summarized and piped directly into a Slack channel for the product teams. This is a game changer. Instead of waiting weeks for a product manager to collate feedback, engineers get a direct, real-time pulse of the customer. This creates a tight, continuous loop of building, shipping, and learning. An engineer can push a small change in the morning, get immediate feedback from the AI bot by the afternoon, and ship an improvement by the end of the day. Compare that to the months-long cycle at a traditional company. This is how you achieve a 10 times advantage in speed. It's not about working 10 times harder. It's about having a system that reduces the cycle time of learning. This culture of urgency is infused in everything they do. They have a mantra. What would this look like if it were easy? This question forces the team to challenge assumptions and find simpler, faster paths to the goal. It fights against the natural tendency for complexity to creep into an organization as it grows. It keeps them nimble. Another key component is how they structure their teams. They use small, autonomous pods that own specific parts of the product. These teams have the authority and the context to make decisions quickly without having to go up a long chain of command. This decentralization of decision-making is critical for maintaining speed as the company scales. The lesson here is to consciously design your organization for speed. Start by auditing your own decision-making processes. How many decisions are being treated as one-way doors when they're actually two-way doors? Where are the bottlenecks? What approvals can you eliminate? How can you empower your frontline employees to make more decisions without fear? Implement tools and systems that shorten your feedback loops. Can you use AI to analyze customer feedback? Can you use feature flags to de-risk launches? Can you create dashboards that give everyone real-time visibility into key metrics? The goal is to reduce the time it takes to go from an idea to a data point. The faster you can do that, the faster you can iterate your way to a product that customers love. Don't mistake motion for progress. Being busy isn't the same as moving fast. Speed, in the Hormozy and Glyman sense, is about the velocity of validated learning. How quickly can you test a hypothesis and know if you were right or wrong? That is the true measure of speed, and it's a massive competitive advantage. While your bigger, slower competitors are stuck in committee meetings debating the font size on a new landing page, you can ship 5 new features, learn what customers actually want, and lap them 10 times over. Speed allows you to outmaneuver and outlearn everyone else in your market. This relentless pace of shipping also has a secondary benefit. It helps you find product market fit faster. You're constantly putting new things in front of customers, seeing what sticks, and doubling down on what works. It's a process of rapid evolution. But speed alone isn't enough if you're running in the wrong direction. You have to be fast. But you also have to be smart. You need to know where the market is going and what opportunities your competitors are missing. That requires a different kind of work-deep strategic thinking. And that leads us to our third and final lesson. How do you enter a market dominated by 100-year-old giants and win? Well, you don't play their game. You invent a new one. This is the art of counter-positioning. It's not about being slightly better, faster, or cheaper. It's about being fundamentally different. It's about looking at the core assumptions of your industry and flipping them on their head. Eric Glyman is a master of this. And honestly, it's the strategic key that unlocked Ramp's explosive growth. Most founders, when they enter a market, study their competitors and try to copy what works. They build a similar product, add 1 or 2 extra features, and then try to compete on marketing or price. But, this is a recipe for mediocrity. You just become a Me Too product, fighting for scraps in an established category. The market leader has all the advantages: brand recognition, scale, and distribution. You can't win by playing on their home turf. Eric did the opposite. He didn't just study his competitors, he studied their business models. He went deep on understanding how they made money. And as we discussed, he found that the entire corporate card industry was built on interchange. Fees. Their goal was to get customers to spend more. Rewards, points, and miles were the tools they used to do it. The entire industry was competing on one axis. Who can give you the best rewards for spending? This was the critical insight. Instead of trying to compete on that same rewards or a cooler-looking metal card, Eric decided to create a completely new axis of competition. He said, everyone else is focused on the 1% you get back in rewards. We're going to focus on the 99% you're spending. He counter-positioned Ramp not as a rewards card, but as a savings platform. This is a brilliant strategic move. It instantly differentiated Ramp from every other player in the market. When a potential customer was comparing Ramp to Amex or Brex, the conversation wasn't about whether the points were better. The conversation was about two fundamentally different philosophies. Do you want a tool that encourages you to spend more, or a tool that helps you spend less? For any rational CFO or founder, the choice is obvious. Counter-positioning allows you to redefine the terms of competition. You're no longer being judged by the industry's established metrics. You're creating a new category of one, where you are the undisputed leader. This is how you escape the red ocean of bloody competition and find your own blue ocean of uncontested market space. This strategy requires deep work and intellectual honesty. You have to be willing to question the foundational beliefs of your industry. Why do things work this way? Is this really what the customer wants, or is it just what they've been trained to expect? What are the unspoken trade-offs that customers are being forced to make? For corporate cards, the trade-off was clear. To get rewards, you had to accept a system that was incentivized against your financial health. Eric and his team found the hidden pain point. Businesses weren't just frustrated with clunky expense reports. They were frustrated with a lack of control and visibility over their spending. The existing solutions treated the symptom, managing expenses, but ignored the disease, which was inefficient spending. Ramp decided to tackle the disease head-on. This is a powerful lesson for any founder. Look at your competitors. What are they all competing on? Is it features, price, speed? Now ask yourself, what is the opposite of that? What is the one thing they are all ignoring? What is the unspoken assumption that underpins the entire market? If you can identify that and build your company around the opposite principle, you can carve out a unique and defensible position. Think about other famous examples of counter-positioning. Netflix didn't try to build better video rental stores than Blockbuster. They got rid of the stores and the late fees altogether. Tesla didn't try to make a slightly more fuel-efficient gasoline car. They rejected the internal combustion engine entirely. Vanguard didn't try to pick better stocks than other mutual funds. They rejected the idea of stock picking and created low-cost index funds. In each case, they won by refusing to play the established game. This requires courage. It's scary to go against the grain. When Ramp launched, many VCs and industry experts were skeptical. They said, no one will choose a card with no rewards. Businesses love their points. They were projecting the old model onto a new world. They failed to see that the underlying customer need had been ignored for decades. Eric's conviction came from his deep understanding of the customer. He had spent countless hours talking to founders and finance against the entire industry, creating a new category instead of fighting for scraps in an old one. Eric Glyman's journey shows that aligning with your customers, moving fast, and thinking differently about your industry can build a $16 billion business. These aren't just lessons for fintech startups. These are fundamental principles for building any great company. It's about being customer-obsessed, operationally excellent, and strategically brilliant. It's a powerful combination that is incredibly difficult for competitors to replicate. It proves that even in the most crowded and established markets, there's always room for a company that is willing to challenge the status quo and build something truly different. The question now is, what are you going to do with this? You have the playbook that built one of the fastest growing companies in the world. You can see how the pieces fit together. The alignment, the speed, the strategy. Don't just let this be another interesting video. Think about how these ideas apply directly to your own venture. Which of these lessons will you steal for your business? Let us know in the comments. We read every single one.